Happy Valentine's Day, everybody out there. Welcome to the program. I'm Tom Connors. It is Midnight's Edge After Dark. We have with us two very distinguished gentlemen. We have, to my left, and my screen right, Mr. Clobbering Times. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Honored to be here. Thanks for having me, and good to see you, my friend Culture, and my fantastic friends in the chat. Good to see you all.
Indeed. We're so glad to have you here as well. And also joining us tonight, a rare treat, we have Culture Casino. How are you doing?
I was on both shows last week.
I just called you a distinguished gentleman. Be nice.
And a rare treat. Yeah,
You are a rare individual.
Yeah.
Well, I was happy the boss let you come out to play for a little bit, but you only have a short period of time. So
I have a short period of time to hang out. But I'm grateful to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful to be anywhere at my age, to be honest with you. And I think I've seen about everything. Everything.
What?
I think I've seen about everything at this point today. Today, I saw people defend Anti-Man. I saw people get excited for Anti-Man. I saw people say Anti-Man was bad. That would include Paulie.
He's seen it?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's got a
So did Chris Gore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have seen I've seen people react not very positively to Indiana Jones and the dial of
density.
Yeah, well, destruction.
Or the budget of doom.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look good. I'm just saying.
Well, Ant-Man spent the day getting the shit kicked out of it.
Really?
Right. It started off okay. I think the Rotten Tomatoes were in the 80 percentile, somewhere in there, 90th percentile, something like that. Yeah. Let's take a guess where it's at right now. If you've seen it recently, do not cheat and tell me. But let's get some numbers here. Clobby, where do you think it's sitting right now for the critics rating on Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania?
Like somewhere in the 60s, maybe.
Okay. All right. Culture.
Roughly.
You looked at it recently, didn't you?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it would be unfair for me to guess.
Okay. So you're close, Clobby. It's actually worse than that. It's 55 right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's headed downward.
That's surprising.
It's on a downward spiral with the critics.
Yeah. Oh, man. I got to go review that Thursday because Mark D and I are going to be on with the Great Comics Division on his channel reviewing it Thursday night. Only bad thing is I just have to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It might be good. I haven't seen it yet. Be fair.
Okay.
Well, do you want to see what the other critics are saying right now? Let's see what they're saying. Sorry, I had to cough there for a moment. Peter Martin gave it a negative review, said it features a slew of talented actors doing their very best to treat the extremely silly movie as though it were serious and actually meant something. Ouch.
Whoa, Polly.
Josh, is Polly in the chat? Come on in, Polly. He's got the keys. Come on in, Polly. No spoilers, but just come on in and you can respond with these, and
I mean, I don't doubt my buddy Polly, but he did kind of like Shang-Chi, so it kind of makes me sorry, buddy.
No, he did not care for this movie, but we also have joining us, I believe this is the first time he's been on Midnight's Edge After Dark. I'm not 100% sure. He'll tell me if I'm wrong or right. Mr. Mark D with a C. I was going to say, we've done tons of streams together, but I think this is the first time I've had you at my house. Welcome to my house.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, usually I'm getting ready for Toxic Tuesday, so last minute Mark, I'm usually doing the slideshow.
That's right.
Ready, so, but hi to Culture, hi to Clobbering Times. Yep.
We're no Toxic Tuesday tonight, so you're able to join us, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm free on Valentine's Day. What's going on? My wife is actually out playing pickleball.
You're married
tonight. Yeah, I'm married.
That's what she told you, huh?
Yeah, she's out playing pickleball. She's addicted to pickleball, so just watch out for anyone who likes pickleball. But, all good. We had a nice weekend away this weekend.
But yes, you normally can see Mark on Toxic Tuesdays with Nick and I and the gang, and you have your own channel as well, right?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yep. So
give me the link to that because I'm not 100% sure if I even know your channel.
Okay,
honest with you.
Let
me double check here.
D-Bud Martin just dropped it in. Thank you, D-Bud.
Okay.
He's the chief engineer.
Maybe I actually do have it. Hang on here. I am subscribed to you. So
there
there.
we go. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Wow.
that'll fix you there.
Well, the problem I was running into with this, and this is why I'm coming off like a total tool right now, is because every time I went to try and find Mark on Twitter, all I could get was the gospel Mark, the other Mark
Yeah,
C.
the gospel Mark. Yep.
So, and nothing again, I like both men just fine, but I couldn't get a hold of you. And so tonight, Clobby said you might be available since you weren't busy with Toxic Tuesday. So I'm like, I can't find him. So he's like, well, I got him on Facebook. I'm like, well, if I have him on Facebook, I don't know what his actual last name is. Yeah. So I'm embarrassed right now to say I don't know how to get a hold of him. But thank you for being here and also joining us.
I put my Twitter in too, so you can find.
Yes, please do
Twitter.
that.
Yep, let me put my Twitter in. Yep.
And also joining us is 70s Rock Fan. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy Valentine's Day to you lovely people.
Jeez, oh, Pete, look at all these old guys.
I did hear something about Tom saying
we just had another join in the back.
He liked men just fine or something.
How many old dudes can you get?
I had to even out the panel with the balds a little bit here. So we've got CC Karaoke also coming in.
Come on, we can get a date on Valentine's Day, can't we?
Is there any chance we'll get somebody that's under the age
I thought nobody
40?
was going to be around here tonight.
That's 2 days CC and I have streamed 2 days in a row. We've streamed together.
We'll come back to these reviews in just a moment here, but I gotta say, this is the truth for Valentine's Day. I don't know how pathetic this is or funny, but I actually thought nobody was going to show up tonight because I thought everybody's either got wives or shit to do.
You know, it may be Valentine's Day, but it's just another Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, as you get older, it is a Tuesday night when you get older, I have to say. Yeah, it's not.
But welcome, CC, to the panel. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. The sun finally came out for the first time in weeks, so I went skiing.
Well, did I hear they had snow in Las Vegas today? Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Thought I heard something about that. I was like, well, that's funny because it was raining here in Wisconsin. If that's true, then that's lopsided as hell. If it was raining here and snowing in Vegas,
I don't know.
that's probably why you had some good weather. Yeah, sorry. What'd you say?
A snowy Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Any UFOs today?
I don't know.
Or just snow?
All of the UFOs.
A nice sunny day here in the prairies in Canada. So.
I wonder how many people are people with the weather balloons are having a hell of a field day this week.
Is it a good or bad time to invest in weather balloons? I mean, it could
good
be good
time.
if you have to keep.
Could be bad if the FBI is knocking on your door. But let's get back to these reviews, gentlemen. This is what we're up to. We're seeing how the critics are reacting to Quantumania, because I'll tell you, the few people who've seen it in our circles have not been big fans of it yet so far. They haven't been saying it's nearly as bad as some of the other stuff we've gotten lately, but it's not sounding too good either. And it's actually kind of falling in line, surprisingly, with a lot of the critics. And right now it's sitting at 55% with the critics. Yeah, we just started reading the rating or the critics' reviews here. So here we go. Josh Larson actually liked the film and said, enough oogly landscapes and googly creatures to power 2 Star Wars pictures and half a Dune. But 2.5 stars, is that really positive, I guess, out of 4, I guess. Yeah.
Doesn't sound
out of
like
4, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't sound like he's committing to one way or the other.
Yeah. Then we got another couple negative reviews here. Quantumanium throws every can of paint in the garage at the screen while struggling with tone and convincing character dynamics. Jonathan Majors is an absolute beast as Kang the Conqueror. The MCU's Phase 5 starts on an uneven footing. Let me make this a little bigger here so I can actually read it with my old ass eyes. Well, that's kind of similar to what Paulie was saying too, is like Kang was the standout. And that was about it. Really. And we got Anthony O'Connor, who says a very mid effort, and Marvel better pull their finger out if they want to see
where
films start to feel like must-see events again. Ooh, that's pretty harsh, actually. Then we got Laura Clifford, who actually liked it and said, while the film is laden with a new purpose and a new world that marks this one something like the extended Lang family visits Disney's Strange World by way of Star Wars, it is more entertaining than its predecessor. She actually gave it a B. Wow.
It's interesting because none of what she says there sounds good.
I don't even know if that's English in half of it. Like, that was some real, like, I read it exactly as it's written. I wasn't me stumbling with my shit English.
No, there's no sentence construction there at all. It's
No.
just a stream of consciousness.
Yeah. And then we got Dave Lee, who
Hologramically.
says a big dumb blockbuster that can't decide whether it's a crazy comedy or gritty drama. A huge contrast between tone narratives leaves this one feeling far too uneven. Tired of being continuously introduced to the multiverse. Time to get on with it. Yeah, that's what I was saying for the last.
That said that.
Good point.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors should be referred to as the defibrillator because his intense performance gives the film desperately needed life. But the film is still unsatisfying, emotionally thin, and inconsequential. These are very in line with Paulie's reviews earlier, actually. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but I'm sure he may agree.
Oh, they see it, or
Yeah, he saw it last night, and this is pretty much his review of it, too. The only good part he could say was that Jonathan Majors was good, and Pfeiffer, he did say Michelle Pfeiffer was good, but he couldn't deny what I was saying with the one reaction set, and that was that she's front and center. Oh, he'll be in soon. So there you go. He'll be in soon to field your guys' questions. Jimmy O says, this is a good review. Funny, heartfelt, and exciting, and the villain is worthy foe. Pfeiffer and Major shine. Most of the jokes work, with some falling flat. And perhaps there are a few minor visual effects that are less effective, but the weirdness made it work. 8 out of 10. See, that's laden full of hedges there, it sounds like to me. What about you guys?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch. It sounds like he's stretching.
Normally you used to be able to trust Joe Blow. This sucks rocks if this is what he's saying, because I'm like, this is inconsistent. 8 out of 10 with a lot of hedging. That doesn't ever sound good. Can you stealth edit your score later on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know. Good question.
I'm just curious.
yeah, 'cause he could lower the review to match what he wrote.
Yeah.
Although he does say funny, heartfelt, and exciting. So
Yeah, see, but when
he
somebody
must
says
think that.
heartfelt, Jack Murphy pops in my head. So that's not a good thing.
Heartfelt sounds like someone reaching inside your chest.
Well, let me tell you.
I just wonder if they went overboard with the comedy. I mean, Thor: Love and Blunder was just such a disaster. As a long-time Thor fan, with all that
Horrible.
comedy and snarkness. Ant-Man has always been, had that comedy in there, and built into the series or baked in, and it worked. I thought in the first movie. So I wonder if they, didn't go overboard with it. It sounds like they had some serious moments, but without seeing the movie, I guess when Paula gets here, he'll tell us. But
I'm interested in that review by Rachel Wagner. I prefer my Ant-Man movie smaller than whatever this is. Does that mean that it perhaps is too overblown? And because the first Ant-Man movie particularly worked on that smaller scale and as a movie, wasn't big budget compared to some other Marvels.
Well, and that's the problem I had with the second film, was that the first film, and we were talking about this earlier on Mr. H's, and the first film had a big sense of scale. And I mean that on so many different levels as a film, not just in a physical sense either, but it was. Because it was, a very street level story. It was a heist film. A lot of the shrinking and growing was in the real world, so we had a sense of scale in that sense. And it felt like a much tighter and better thought out film. And it did have a long gestation period between, Edgar Wright and then what we finally got with Peyton Reed. And then the second film is all in the quantum realm and shit. So it might as well have been in outer space and stuff like that. And Culture knows what I'm talking about because he was on the show earlier too. And he was in similar feelings, it felt like to me in that sense. And it seemed like Paulie kind of said that, you get a better sense of that in this film of what sizes are, but it's still a lot of quantum realm stuff. And that's the issue we had. The quantum realm might as well just be outer space because it's no different.
And it's the aesthetic, right, Tom? I mean, that's the thing I kept mentioning. It's like you no longer create different aesthetics for each of your different parts of your storytelling, which has always bothered me. And I think I've been mentioning this for 5-6 months now, Tom. I'm not sure, but
yeah, and this to me sounds like more of the worst problems the second film had added in with more of the problems of the current MCU. Because you got to remember that this is the last time we had an Ant-Man film was when the MCU was on its, peak with Endgame and Infinity War, and then this was before the downward trend. And we were talking about box office earlier too. And before we get too farther into any more of these reviews, I got to ask you guys on the panel here, how do you guys think this is going to fare at the box office? Klobby, I know you said you plan on seeing it this weekend. So how do you think it's going to do?
Well, now hearing some of this, which I've not heard till just now, I'm saying it may do reasonably well. Remember the first two Ant-Mans were not gigantic, box office successes either. They were okay. I mean, for what they were, because they were, pardon the pun, smaller films. If word of mouth is going to be like this, though, maybe the first week fairly decent, and could be looking at some severe drop off. And I've agreed to review it. Otherwise, I'm not sure that was something I would have really wanted to go see, to be honest.
So do you think it might even, is it capable of reaching even, I don't know, 400 million?
No,
which is
I don't
not
think so.
that great.
Not the first weekend anyway, no.
No, but I mean overall.
Well,
They
I think it'll hit over 400. Yeah.
Over 400.
Well,
yeah.
hang on. Whoa. Back those ponies up on the first weekend. We looked into this, Mark.
Okay.
And one of the articles that came out was they're anticipating a global open of $280 million.
So open of 280.
Global open of 280.
That's ambitious.
101 to 125 in the States. And I think those numbers are too high.
Yeah, I mean, where's the enthusiasm? Is there really that much enthusiasm at this point in the Marvel universe for this character?
Now, I will agree with Mark D and say that it probably will make 400 million, maybe even as much as 600 million for its total run. But I don't know.
Would be fair if it made that. That would actually be a good return, I think.
No, actually, it would just barely break even if it did.
Well, but that's what I mean by good in this instance.
That's true. That's true.
Given where they're at, given where Marvel are at, that actually would be good.
I'd be surprised if the drop off was really significant from last year's films. I can see it dropping off, but I don't think it's going to go from 750 to 500 in one film unless there's more information on the table in front of me to work with there.
Mark, are you going to see this?
Yeah, well, I'm going on Thursday since we're going to be on reviewing it on Thursday night. So I'm going to a 4:30 show with my buddy who we always go to every Marvel movie, but I did not go see Wakanda because I was just
lucky.
Too infuriated with what they did to Namor. I skimmed through on D+, and it just was killing me as a longtime comic book fan who loved the character.
It's partially your fault that I'm going to see this, you realize.
So you can blame Mark. Yep. I'm looking at the stats on Phase 4. So Black Widow made 380. Shang-Chi, not Shang-Chi, made 432. This is millions.
Yeah.
Eternals made 400 million. Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home, the most successful, 1.9 billion.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange made 955 million, almost close to $1 billion. Love and Blunder made 760 million. That was a horrible movie that hit 760. And Wakanda, not Black Panther, made 855.
Right.
So you see that trend on Doctor Strange actually beat Black Panther.
Wakanda, yeah.
But,
by 100 million.
But if they're saying that this is what was it, that figure you said, 255 million opening globally for this?
No, 280.
280. Isn't that double the last movie in this?
It's way too much. It's way too. It's irrational. Now again, domestically, Brian, and the North American market, it's really only projected to do somewhere between 101 and 125 million domestically. Okay. But globally, they're saying 280, and I'm thinking you are smoking giant amounts of weed.
Like an awful lot of weight to put on that movie, given it's maybe like not double, but like 1.75 times the global opening of the last one.
Yeah. No, I think you guys are all on point here, and this thing
I think so too.
Like Klobby, I'm going to be real reluctant to put an actual number on it, but I think this will be front loaded, and then at the end of the day, it'll be lucky to peak at around 700 million because that's what the last two have made, and that's factoring in with the inflation aspect of they're losing their audience, and that's on the high end. This movie could tank at the Shang-Chi level.
Yeah, it could.
Like that's what we're not anticipating here too, and that's where culture and it might be right too, because if this movie fit, let's just say for the sake of argument, like, yeah, it's lucky enough to be opening in China day and date with the US. Which, I mean, but let's be real here. What if this movie fails to bank at least 100 million in the US this weekend? That is tragedy right there, because that means that this movie, because the last one opened at 75 million in the US.
Yeah. Mark,
It has to beat that.
Mark, where did Shang-Chi finish?
Shang-Chi finished
400 some million.
432. And of course, that's in the middle of the vid, but that was
it was yeah. I hear you.
A little bit of the, so if you look at Ant-Man and Wasp was out after Infinity War, so you're in the top of Marvel, $2 billion, or in the with Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and Wasp made 622 million. So that's with everyone wanted to see every Marvel movie, and
it had some bearing on the plot arc of Marvel at that time.
Yeah.
Now,
and then Captain Marvel did $1 billion after that. So,
to be fair, we don't have the Spider-Man movies in this graft, and we did that for a reason when we made this thing. Andre did, but it's still poignant in a sense that outside of Spider-Man, this shows you exactly what the Marvel universe has done since Endgame. Nothing. And granted, you can give Black Widow and Shang-Chi a little bit of a pass, but you can't give that to the Eternals or Doctor Strange or Thor or Black Panther. And Black Panther, to me, is the biggest glaring problem of this whole thing, because you had a film that performed so much less than its original film, right? Thor: Love and Thunder, it played in par with Ragnarok. Doctor Strange, I think actually this one made more money than the first one. I'd have to go check, but I think it did make just a tad more. So in that sense, those two did okay. Black Panther, though, that is a huge dip in the Marvel universe right there. Yeah. Because that first movie made what? Close to $2 billion, wasn't it?
1.35.
Okay, was it 1.35? Okay, it was on lower end.
Yeah, well, it hit $1 billion.
Yeah. It did hit $1 billion, though, was my point. But yeah, I thought it was closer to $2 billion. My bad. But regardless, like that.
It's just opened in China last week too. I don't know what Wakanda's going to do in China, but
but it's still only cleared about 700 million so far, close to 8. But
I believe it's starring Martin Freeman in China.
They don't really like people with. They don't really like darker shaded people.
I don't make the posters. Disney do.
You're not wrong, though. But anyhow, we have Paulie joining us now. And Paulie's actually seen the film.
Look at that handsome man.
So if we have some questions here for anybody, it would be Paulie at this moment in time.
So, Paulie, can I ask, where did you get that wonderful mustache?
His mom.
The first question.
Anytime you ask about my mustache, well, wait, you're a paying member. You can ask. Go ahead.
Exactly.
His mom and dad is where he got it.
Quick recovery there, Paulie. The customer's always right.
Sorry, Paulie.
So, wait a minute. Hold on. Romy just finished an audition. Hold on.
No problem. So yeah, basically, we have two of me now. I'm multiplying.
I got chills. You're multiplying.
Here, I think I can. No, I can't change his picture. I can only change his name.
Okay, I'm back.
No worries, man. No worries. I know you probably don't have too long anyway, considering it's Valentine's Day and everything. So, just real quick though, like
the smart thing, I got gifts starting yesterday. Flowers.
Well, that's good.
Chocolate, candle, and the card. I'm going to read her the card later on. Yeah. Get how romantic this is. Over pizza, right, babe?
Yeah.
And a scary movie.
Wow. As long as I have a scary movie and you break down the studio for me, that's all the Valentine I need.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Mrs. Slant.
Mrs. Slant.
Hey.
All right, let's
Tell Romeo
do it, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day. And so basically compared to some of these reviews, man, which we've been reading here, I'll bring them back up here now.
Yeah.
I mean, because the critics have been brutal. They've been brutal to this film. It's in the title, of course, of the video, but
yeah.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of green. Look at it. Oh my God, just a run of them there. Like this is where we left off here. Yeah, the green would be a splat, and then the red is tomatoes good. So yeah, we're getting a few. We left off here. I think Joe Blow was the last one we read. Pete Hammond says, I confess I'm getting quite sick of the sorcerer style flashy and fiery effects so many of these comic book movies revel in. Mix it up next time, guys. And then Tanya Lamb says, if weird's your thing, welcome to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium. That is not even a review.
No.
That's like a...
Yeah. I wonder what Hey Would You Blow Me thought about it.
Who?
Hey Would You Blow Me? He's always reviewing.
Modern times. Gee.
He's always reviewing movies for this site.
Oh,
I've seen him on there.
Next Tuesday.
no, is it really? Okay.
Stupid ass.
Rachel Wagner says, "I prefer my Ant-Man movie smaller, whatever this is." I think this is the one that you guys were talking about earlier. Somebody had said.
Yeah. I think if she's trying to say that the smaller scale
Yeah.
works better for the character, not overblown.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where you want me to begin. I don't know if you want me to keep
did
it
you
spoiler
enjoy-
free or if you have
Did
questions.
you
Spoiler-free,
enjoy
please,
it,
if you
Paulie?
could.
Did you enjoy the movie? Is the
No.
first thing. No.
Absolutely not. 100% did not enjoy the film. It was not fun. I was confused half the time. A lot of recycled Marvel sensibility and shitty humor, not to mention a lot of language I didn't expect in regards to modern day politics. I was
Lord.
what the F is going on?
Oh,
The
good Lord.
only thing that is worth watching is Jonathan Majors as Kang and Michelle Pfeiffer. But it's too, they're not the star. It's kind of weird. There are the stars, yet they're not. And it doesn't save a film because they're not the film.
Yeah.
Now, Michelle Pfeiffer's playing his mother, Ant-Man's mother.
She's Janet Van Dyne. She's playing
Mother-in-law.
His Wasp.
Mother-in-law.
She's the
Okay.
Wasp mother.
Wasp's mother. Sorry.
She's
The original
fantastic.
Wasp. She's the
Right.
original Wasp of the comics. But
Oh,
they had to
okay,
ruin
right.
Yeah, she'd be
They
the
ruined
in-law.
it for the MCU.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean the if you guys are comic, I'm coming from it as a movie lover.
Mhm.
I can't even imagine what you guys are gonna go through.
Oh, Lord.
Ándale pues.
I hear you.
Yeah, this is kind of the point H was saying earlier, is because like you coming from that world, you generally try to find the good things, and you were stretching to find things to praise in this film. It was sounded
Bro,
like even like the thing is that it's tough to tell between the difference between the good and the bad reviews, because some of these good reviews are exactly what you're saying. Like the only good shit is Majors and Pfeiffer, and outside of that, it just doesn't work.
So here's the thing. My buddy Klobby threw me some shade earlier for liking Shang-Chi.
I was just
Shang-Chi,
teasing,
hold
man.
on. Shang-Chi had an identity. It was very clear what the story was. Whether you liked it or not, that's debatable,
I got
right?
you.
Like, but yeah, I was very entertained. It had a lot of action. It had some decent comedy. Compared to this, oh my God. It's just like it's like a 1-2 punch of what probably four films now in a row of just horrible movie making.
Would you say it's confusing when you're watching it? I've heard a few
Completely
people say
confusing
that.
this for that first hour. How was Polly how was Paul Rudd as Ant-Man? Was he good in the movie? Yeah, I mean, Paul Rudd's never bad. I mean, it's
Right.
but the thing is that the problem is that the way they've written Scott Lang as a comedic foil in all these past movies, and now you're asking him to not be that. He's got no gravitas, especially compared to Jonathan Majors Kang.
Mm.
Then
Did
Mecca
Molly,
J
did they go-
also
I was going to ask, did they go overboard with the jokes like Love and Thunder? Did they, try to make it go way too much? Excuse me, with the comedy.
I didn't even watch Love and Thunder, but this was just one stupid ass joke after the other.
So
Like
they're
when?
overplaying
Well, the
the
way-
humor all the time.
Well, the way
all
I
the
asked
time.
Polly earlier
Reshoots.
was this. I was just going to say that because this is the way I asked Polly earlier, because we had heard from him and others people that there was reshoots on this, and they were trying to inject humor, and flat out asked, does it feel like those are the scenes that were reshot, and does it feel like it's forced? And his answer was pretty much yes. So I think that's part of the problem there too. So I think that even though you haven't seen Love and Thunder, yes, that's the way Love and Thunder felt
I
too.
didn't want to see it.
There was a shit ton of crap.
I didn't
in
want to
it.
see this, Tom, and I got invited to a That's the thing, is I got invited. This was like out of nowhere. Yesterday, my buddy Rosa Parra, who's a film critic, she's like, "Hey, I got a +1. What are you doing tonight?" Yeah, all right, let's go.
Well, let me ask you this about Major.
Yeah.
Because he was not his fault, probably, but did you see how horrible he was in that last episode of Loki? So I was wondering, is he nothing like that, like he was in that episode?
I
Is
didn't
Kang
see.
different?
I didn't see it, but from what I hear, Verbal Riot told me he was different.
Uh-huh.
What's up, babe?
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Oh
Valentine's.
my God.
Put it in your mouth.
Oh shit.
Yeah, speaking of, we're gonna lose culture here in a minute too, but
So, where was I?
Major.
Kang. Major, sorry.
So
Loki.
Verbal Riot told me it's a different Kang at the end of Loki.
Yeah.
That there's nothing to do with that. Is not this Kang.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
Completely different. And even in the post-credit scene, there's 2 post-credit scenes.
hmm
So I'm not trying to give away spoilers, but I'm just saying, like those were the best scenes of the whole fucking film.
Wow.
Gotcha. Wow.
And I guess
And
we're
you
not
know
getting
me,
a-
man, I give everything a chance. I don't like everything, Klobby.
I was man. Come on, I was kidding.
Hey,
dude.
no, I'm sticking up for my honest reviews. I'm just
I
saying.
know.
But people
man.
it's like, to me that's like saying that, oh, that guy hates everything. That's not fair to the guy that
Yeah.
like
I'm
just
the
saying,
one that
dog,
gets that.
you know?
I'm the one that gets I hate everything. So I'm the opposite. So you get the I like.
well, not only
everything.
that, I'll say this about Paulie. I can't believe sometimes there's movies that he doesn't like. I'm just like, are you freaking serious? Like, he's like, yeah, no, I didn't like it. And I'm not talking about Godfather 3 either. I'm
That's
talking
the best
about
Iron Man about.
I'm talking about
That's an
actual
Iron Man
movies
about
where
that
you're just like, what? You know,
So,
like, yeah.
Paulie, does it feel like this movie was the opening movie of a phase and setting things up? Does it feel like that when you watch
Oh,
it?
we can only hope this is just a phase. Oh, you mean like another Marvel
A phase of Marvel. Yeah, apparently phase.
That joke
I
fell a
mean-
little flat, sorry.
What a complete disaster Marvel has become, right?
Mm.
You go from phase to phase to phase, and I said, like, here's what I like from phase 4, right? But even those that I like from phase 4, they pale in comparison to Civil War, to these great work, Iron Man,
Mm.
and this to be your launching for phase 5. I mean, what an embarrassment! What a complete catastrophe! I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It's a catastrophe of film, of the creative process, of filmmaking, of entertainment machine manufacturing and creating by committee, and then you add in all the other things and I could really tear this thing apart.
Well,
I mean,
and-
did
Yeah,
the dramatic
I was gonna say
elements
culture.
fall flat, or
What's that, buddy?
Go ahead.
How you doing,
Cece.
Cece?
oh hey, no, I was just wondering because we were told that it was supposed to be a serious film before they supposedly injected all the humor into it.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to say that maybe that would ruin the film, but the dramatic elements still had to have been written well and still have to come off well. And is that part of the film maybe also falling flat, or was there something in there that could have been better?
Well, let's go back to the first Ant-Man, right? It was so clear. It had such a great identity. And then, like, you guys are talking about scope. So this had no identity. It was just disjointed. And so those dramatic moments that were so few and far in between, they kind of were out of place. And you could tell the stuff they inserted, the reshoots.
I was going to ask, could you tell the difference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We can tell here.
Especially the ending,
Yeah.
guys.
It's
Oh,
weird
God.
because as a comic book fan, and of course we've got a few of them on this panel, by the way. We don't necessarily demand fealty. It doesn't have to be panel to shot for us to like a film, right? It just has to be tonally in line with what we expect. And it seems like they stepped way beyond the bounds when they were like wrapping up the third phase, because Civil War was different. You didn't have certain characters that would have normally been leading into Endgame and all of that, because they didn't have control of those characters when they conceived of these particular things. But when you get to this phase and you have basically complete control outside of Spider-Man, right, of everything that you could possibly employ and create with phase 4, 5, 6, whatever you're rolling forward, why can't you make better quality films? So my critique is going to be, when you are continually moving forward, why can't you get better? Why are you regressing? And they've regressed in every way. Dialogue, they've regressed story, they've regressed character development. They've regressed in everything. They no longer introduce characters. They are lazy. They backdoor pilot everybody into existence. It's not.
You said backdoor.
Well,
Yeah,
it's been very, very frustrating. But look, it's like I said, I'm not necessarily over over hero films, but I think I'm over Marvel, and I might be over DC. So what else you got?
Completely
Dark City?
CG overloaded.
I gotta go.
Later, brother.
Take care, culture.
It's
Happy
See
Valentine's Day.
culture.
CG. It's almost
Bye, bud.
barfed on you. It's barfed on the viewer. It's just
Wow.
like
Well, that's bad
like,
for the whole industry of Hollywood too, because they're basically, what do we get now? Superhero films and maybe a couple of movies they make for the Oscars, but it's everything is CG laden and it's cookie cutter. That's the problem. There's no originality. At least that first Ant-Man movie,
Yeah.
had that
I-
originality to it, and it was a niche kind of movie. And of course,
Small worked for that, Mark. You're right.
yeah,
Small.
and the
The
quantum
characters
realm
are
is, for us comic book fans, the quantum realm is the microverse. So of course I'm a huge
Subatomica,
Micronauts
yeah.
fan. So here we got one of the original
Microverse.
Micronauts from the 70s. So that's and they can't use some of the characters, I guess, because of rights issues. But that whole microverse is just a fantastic world that they can explore. And of course, I haven't seen the movie, but it sounds like they didn't do anything imaginative, and they didn't,
well,
other than majors.
Yes and no. Yes and no, because I said this in my review, and I have a full spoiler review on my channel. I put it up early this morning. That the universe was beautiful to look at. It's just that would they stop and so I can look?
It's
There's
just fine.
one terrain after the other, one new person after the other. You were just I was lost. And then there was some shoddy CGI. You could tell you're on the volume. You could tell you're on a green screen a lot of the time.
That's disappointing. Yeah.
What about the audio? Was the sound good, or was the sound a bit choppy? Because you're saying
Sound was fine.
so the sound was okay. Just the visuals were not so great.
It all comes down to the storytelling, right?
Yeah.
So you had you had a story that you could tell was originally dark in tone, and then they try to fluff it up with humor and other non sequiturs, and it was just a mess.
And I was only being semi joking there because I found that in a lot of movies now, if they feel that their visuals have a problem, they'll overload you with volume on the sound as a distraction.
Probably yeah. That's actually a good point.
They
So
blast you.
I thought you meant, can you hear everybody?
No, they'll blast you with the soundtrack. They'll blast you with the audio editing, and
Yes,
kind
that
of
happens a lot.
compensates a bit as a distraction, because if you in this, as you know, the cinema now, the sound is so good, absolutely can overwhelm you, and it kind of distracts you a little bit at times.
That happened.
Yeah, because I'm just going to see in the Dolby Cinema, which is fantastic. Usually, the picture's amazing, the sound is incredible, the Atmos system. So,
it's a great way of compensating for,
but it doesn't
the visuals
doesn't
are maybe
save.
And
doesn't save a bad movie though.
Going into the film, I was in the best position possible. I was hanging out with some cool people, had a good meal, 7 p.m. showing. I was ready. Low expectations, entertain me.
May I ask,
Fair enough.
Polly, did you go see Pathan?
Yes.
Yes, so did I. Yeah, first time I'd been in a cinema for a while. Awesome. Anyway,
yeah, that was all right.
So you, I mean, I like Shang-Chi too on record, Wally too. But do you would rather see Shang-Chi again than this movie? It sounds like.
What's funny is I just recently rewatched it, maybe less than about a week ago, and I was like, oh, some of the action holds up. That's cool, and then
that bus scene is one of the best action scenes I've
and then
seen in a
Awkwafina,
movie,
like I said, surprised me with her humor in it. This film makes Shang-Chi look like it's a classic, man. And I know it's not. It was.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you want me to put the final nail in this coffin, Tom, as far as lines of dialogue that I heard in the film.
Yeah, we'll get to that here. Mecca J says with $2, and thank you for the other super chat as well, Mecca. Says, if the critics hate it, then it must be good, right? Well, I don't know. I think they're just being honest because they know they can't keep lying to us. Isn't that right, Paulie? I mean, you said some of these lines earlier, Mr. H, so go ahead and give us an example of some of the things you heard.
Okay, so these are lines of dialogue from the film. Okay, here, let me have a drink. Hold on a second. I drink some water.
Do you need some dramatic reading music?
Right? Lines of dialogue. Okay. Peaceful protesting.
Ooh.
Oh, what? Okay.
Burn it all down.
Oh my goodness.
Revolution. And for the creme de la creme, I know this sounds controversial. This is actually the start of the line. I know this sounds controversial, but socialism is actually a good thing.
That's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
movie.
Oh
And
Lord.
who says? Can you tell us who said that? That can't be. Ant-Man,
I
right?
leave it to Tom.
Lord. Yeah, no, we're not gonna spoil it here, but because I did promise no spoilers.
All right. Yeah.
Sheesh. Yeah.
Unless I guess at least they didn't say kill the past. That's
They kind of did. They said burn it all down.
burn it all down. Yeah, they
Yeah.
said that
Yeah.
first.
Basically said, burn it all down.
Yeah.
But they've
Well,
never. I was gonna say they've never had the chance to have real socialism, right? That's what everyone always says, right? You know, Cuba wasn't real socialism. Well, we don't want to get too far down that road, but yeah, that kind of stuff always, when you talk to people,
You
who've
got to
lost
come to
everything in
Canada
their
for
life-
that stuff, Mark.
Yeah.
So I guess the only good thing about the movie is that it doesn't have Tessa Thompson in it. So that's a plus.
That's good.
Oh Lord.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, I guess that is kind of a plus in this day and age. We have the Walt man here with $1.99. Thank you so much. Who says, "Wait, Tom, did you drink the chemical laced water? Why? What did I say now? I don't know what I
You haven't
said.
been to- you haven't been to Ohio, I hope.
No.
Oh, hi.
Jack White says the reason Marvel sucks now is because they don't have creative people working on them. They have activists working, and all the activists know is politics. Well, for the most part, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got Keto Simple. Hey, how's it going? Says, think theaters are dying. Can they be saved? That's a good question. That actually comes to the next story we're going to get to. So hold on to that thought. L. Humphreys also sends in a $3 or £3, super sticker with a pear, giving a arm forward, raising his thumb up. Well, thank you. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, please do. And the Novella Princess also sent us in. A super sticker with a little Shiba dog smiling. Thank you so much, Novella Princess. Oh, and you guys are just showering us with gifts now all of a sudden. Thank you so much. Jack White says, I would argue that we haven't been getting superhero movies and TV shows from Marvel in recent years. We've been getting discrimination stories with a superhero skin suit. Well, that's
fair.
That's actually an astute observation. You're not wrong.
Fair. Even with Shang-Chi, I'll give it to you. It's fair. I was entertained with Shang-Chi. Comparatively, fuck.
Right. Yeah. And then we got Cryham in the house who says the character Scott Lang, is his personality arc consistent from prior appearances? That's a question for you, Paulie. Or stomped over like Doctor Strange was? Ignore if telling too much. So is he basically the same character? Or is he?
Yeah, and there's there without spoiling it, there is some advancements after the blip, like as far as what Scott Lang is doing and
Gotcha.
and that. It's the Wasp who takes a complete background to the story, which I was really surprised.
I say you're saying backseat there for a minute.
Backseat.
Cassie Lang is more of a focus than Wasp, or how much?
Sound like Michelle Pfeiffer was more upfront than anything.
Michelle and the daughter, yeah.
Michelle and the daughter, Cassie, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she was
good.
the original Wasp, so.
Yeah.
Well, she was
But okay.
great. Michelle was great.
Of course, Mr. Buttcrack Media sends us in a quintessential pooper sticker. Thank you so much. Only a few people do I allow to send me in pooper stickers, and he's one of them. But yeah, back to Keto's question about theaters. Do you got a few more minutes, Paul, or did you have to check out too?
I got a few more minutes.
Because Tom Cruise was thanked by Steven Spielberg himself for possibly single-handedly saving theaters. And I think Steven's right. I don't think he's wrong. I think he's overlooking Spider-Man quite a bit in this equation. But hey, what do you guys think, though, going off of Keto's question? Are theaters back? Is Hollywood back? I was kind of thinking of this after our conversation, Paulie, earlier on Nate's channel about how, coming up in the summer, we're finally going to start seeing basically old school Hollywood, where you got movies that are finally going to duke it out for whether or not they're going to make their money or not. So what do you guys think? Let's start with you, Paulie. You go all the time. So do you think theaters are back. What do you say?
Yeah, slowly but surely. But I would say let's talk about this in like another 6 months, because like you said, after the
Yeah.
summer, we'll really get a good feel of how it's going, and there look like some really great. There looks like some good entertainment coming up. Of course, culminating with Mission Impossible and hopefully Blue Beetle, but some other possible hits.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. Without Tom Cruise last year, the cinema would have just taken a dive. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man would have been the only hit. That's fair. CC, what's your thoughts? Do you think theaters are back? Are you somebody who even ventures out to the theater anymore?
I do, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time because of how long the production cycle is. However, we were talking previously, I think on a previous show, it was Sunday night, about how South Park started ragging on identity politics and woke. And then I started looking around the last few days, and I started to notice, like even on YouTube, there was a really like, I don't know, I was one of those top 10 channels that has like 50 million subscribers, and they always play it safe. And they did a top 10 that was like
Mojo or whatever. Yeah,
it had Stewie in the thumbnail looking really unimpressed, saying woke. And it struck me, it's like it's now becoming cool for these larger, general entities to go at that. Like, we're moving into a new phase of social culture now, right?
That's interesting.
But that being said, movies that were greenlit a couple of years ago are still going to be stuck with wherever they were during the production cycle.
That's true too.
I'm not sure this is going to be the year, but I can see what Steven Spielberg was talking about, because that movie certainly pushed forth the idea that just good classic entertainment will sell.
I think that's kind of part of the point he was getting at too. Mark, do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think theaters have been in a big trouble for a long time too, especially when you're tied to all these big blockbuster movies. Back in the day, you had a lot more smaller movies that, you had rom-coms, or it seems everything is a big blockbuster or some kind of event movie. I mean, one of my favorite movies is The Sure Thing. Of course, John Cusack has kind of gone off the deep
You
deep
bring
end, but
that
like a
movie
little,
up every chance you
like
can.
a little,
I noticed.
like a little movie like that. I'm a broken record with that one, but small movies like that, would never, I don't think would get made today. So that's the problem. So we've got all these big blockbusters. So how's indie gonna do? How's that last movie? How I guess Avatar's made money, right? They crossed the $2 billion mark. So that movie is eventually going to make some money for Disney, it sounds like. But I'm just worried about all these big blockbusters, and people have have superhero fatigue, as much as I'm a superhero fan. So I think it's gonna be real interesting to see like what you guys are saying. Just wait, in 6 months, what's summer gonna bring. But with people having these entertainment centers at home and big screens, it's not like it used to be when you grew up. You had a 24-inch black and white TV with a tinny speaker. I mean,
24-inch, you were lucky.
Yeah, I was lucky. Yeah,
that's pretty big for back then. Jesus, dude, were you rich?
You were lucky.
Yeah.
12-inch.
Yeah,
nobody has two TVs.
Two TVs. Come on. So,
like Back to the Future quote, dude.
But I mean, you could stay home now or just wait till the movie streams, right? If it's going to be streaming, you say, do I really want to see that movie? So part of it is, you want to go to the movie theater and go to like one of these fancy, Dolby cinemas or IMAX or something for these big, like a Star Wars type. And Star Wars used to be good, something very visual, or an Avatar, if you like that. But for comedy, you can just stay, I'll just wait till it's streaming. Why do I get to spend tickets my way, or $20 a ticket, and the popcorn is $12?
Hey guys,
That's
before you go on,
too. Yeah.
Let's say to the chat, guys, what an awesome crowd you are.
Yeah.
But only a little over 200 likes. Can you guys smash the like, please? That would be fantastic.
Please
for the
do.
algorithm.
Yeah, please.
For the channel,
Yeah.
for the algorithm, big time.
Appreciate it, Paulie. And so 70s, Keto brings up a point again. He's the one who kind of got us on this point with this original point.
Yeah.
I agree. The movie has to be intriguing enough to get me to the theater, because I'm not looking forward to seeing much until at least a couple months away here yet with a few films. But what about you, 70s? Do you think theaters are back or no?
I don't know about back. I don't think they'll ever go away completely. I mean, I know they've been in decline for some time. I think it's all about the movie. If the movies are good, and there's a lot of good movies, then people will want to go. And I don't think we've had the quality of content we would all have hoped for in the last few years for various reasons. It's still a premier experience if you get a great screen with great sound in a nice cinema. It's still a fantastic experience. I get what you're saying, Mark, about the home theater experience, because that's what I've had for the last few years. Pretty much, I've only been to 2 movies in the theater in 2 years. Both were Indian movies, tellingly enough, not Hollywood movies. And that is great because you don't have to worry about the phones and the people getting up and down to go to the toilet and throwing their popcorn over you or sticking their feet in your back. But it is still a fantastic experience in a good theater if you get the right film. We need the right movies that will excite or entertain us. And I don't just mean big blockbusters. That could be across all genres and sizes of movies. So I think
Cocaine Bear.
We get those.
That's a good point.
People will go. If you build it, they will come.
Well, Megan was one that did it. It did, I argue it could have done better, but I feel like it was kind of hindered by Avatar taking up so many theaters at that time. And I think there could be some research done to prove that point. But regardless, it's still done well. I think it's going to do well on video. It's already got a greenlit sequel. That has started a new franchise now, right? Like, that's what we need. We need more John Wicks. We need more of these films. And Top Gun 2 is great, but it's still a sequel to a film from 30 years ago, kind of like with Spider-Man. So, Klobby, I mean, what is your take on this as somebody who does go to films? I know when you do for the channel and whatnot. Is that something you would normally still do if it wasn't for the YouTube side of things? Or do you think theaters are back? The ultimate question.
I think it's still to be determined. I wouldn't go as much as I used to. I really probably wouldn't go see much of anything. I like to go, but I kind of like what I think Mark was saying earlier about how people will stay away from things that aren't like huge, that seem like huge cinematic experiences. If it's a smaller introverted film, which we need more of, I think some people might stay away a little bit from that, or from the theater. Now they'll watch them, of course, and then again, if 2 months later you can watch it watching the convenience of your own home, I think that's. I don't think that's changed the game.
That's a good question, Klobby. Like, do you think with summer coming up and getting more normal, and Paulie, and I think you had a point you just wanted to make our question asked, but real quick, I'm curious, do you think they'll start stretching that window back out again? We won't get these movies so quickly on streaming like we were before. Like, do you really expect to see The Flash in 2 months later on HBO Max?
Yeah, looks like that's the way it's going right now. So that makes a big difference. Go ahead, Paulie.
Oh, I was just gonna kind of add to that, or just wrap around the last question, is that the more tentpole films are successes, like Mission Impossible, Flash, 65 million, all that stuff, then we can have more adult great films that are like, budgeted between 30 and 70 million, and get those films out there, because those films are, I would say, even more important. Like, just you get some better quality greenlit films that actually have some creative guts, and that are written and directed by sane people. But we need those big movies to perform well. That's how it goes.
I'm actually going to just follow up on that, Paulie, to say that we were talking about genres, and we want all genres in there, and we need the big blockbusters. But where are the blockbuster comedies that we used to get? That drew a lot of people into the theater on a Friday and Saturday night date movies.
Dead
Comedies.
Killed comedy. Comedy was the first thing to be killed by woke. And I mean, come on, like
movies. You took
clearly Ghostbusters was patient zero with this whole thing, right? Like, I mean, we know it started kind of like Fantastic Four. There was elements in TMNT. I kept trying to tell people that before. Same thing here. We come to this end. That's what killed comedy. When was the last time you remember seeing a decent fucking comedy?
Tropic Thunder.
I would have to go back to either Tropic Thunder or Superbad. I'm trying to remember which one came out last, but like in that region, for me, I know some people like the Hangover films, but I liked Hangover better the first time I saw it. When it was called Dude, Where's My Car? But yeah, they were huge films.
They were popular, yeah.
Yeah, CC
Those are
like
the-
that joke.
Those are the date movies that people would go out for, and they're not there anymore. We don't need the huge blockbusters all the time, but those movies brought people
Yeah, like
in.
my first date with the missus, since this is Valentine's Day, was City Slickers, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the
Where are those
classic movie,
movies?
Billy Crystal,
Great
Jack
comedy,
Palance.
yeah.
Great comedy, great. That's a great date movie, right? I guess either that or horror movie would have been
Yeah.
good.
Horror movie.
But
I would say this. I would say let's bring it back to Marvel. Let's bring it back to Ant-Man. The comedic elements interwoven in Ant-Man 1 could not be done today because you relied on a cultural stereotype, Luis, that told these comedic stories so well.
Mm.
Yeah,
right?
that was pretty funny.
It was,
was funny,
so it was just very original that they're probably so afraid that, like, oh, we can't have those type of Latinos anymore. It's too much of a stereotype. When that was probably one of the biggest things that we still remember from the first Ant-Man movie.
Mm.
And that's another thing. I forgot everything about that film last night.
I got to rewatch it before I go see
Well,
the new one.
that's the worst
Yeah.
thing you can say about a movie, Polly. That you just don't remember anything about it, and you've only
No,
just seen it.
I think as far as the answer to that though is This Is the End, or what was the End of the World? That other one with the guys at the bar.
Right.
Yeah,
That was
like-
all right.
Those two movies are probably the last two movies I remember actually being in the old
World's
way
End.
of comedy.
The
The
World's
World's End. That's the other one. Yeah.
At World's End.
So they're both like
World.
aptly titled films in a weird freaking way. And it is kind of like the British version of that. Plus, then you got the American Canadian version with the This Is the End. So it is kind of weird that that's like a poignant end to that. Because like that's when you got into the era where you started getting shit like funny people and crap like that weren't even really comedies anymore, and then it just died out with Ghostbusters. Like we have not
He
had
was
a.
dead, yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say that The Heat and Bridesmaids and
That was
Spy
pretty
were
funny.
okay, but that all led up to Ghostbusters, right? So it was like,
Right.
But okay, they're not great. They're just okay, and that's
well, see, that's the thing is Bridesmaids got a lot of attention. In fact, I think didn't even Melissa McCarthy get freaking nominated for an Oscar for that movie?
Really?
Really?
I think so.
Oh, boy.
Well, have you guys seen them again? Have they
No,
rewatched
you don't hear about them much.
No.
Yeah.
After Ghostbusters, I did watch Bridesmaids, and I loved it the first time I saw it. Hated it after I saw
you go.
Ghostbusters, because all of the Paul Feegisms started sticking out at me. And not only that, I was one of those few people who didn't hate Melissa McCarthy going into Ghostbusters. I sure freaking hated her afterwards, though.
She was great in the Gilmore Girls.
That's what I'm saying. I used to never had a problem with her. I know a lot of people did, and I'm like, no. To me, she's kind of just like Roseanne 2.0.
What about that
Right?
garbage movie that she did where she's a superhero or something?
That
Oh,
was
the Superbs, or I don't remember what the hell it was called, but it was on Netflix. But I can't
The
remember.
Netflix
the
on
name.
movie.
Netflix. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was,
it was-
horrible.
Well, looking at the list of movies from 2022, the top 12 movies. So just to go look, they're all superhero and Maverick, Wakanda, Doctor Strange #3, Avatar 4, or sequels: Jurassic World Dominion, another sequel, Minions: Rise of Gru 6, The Batman 7. Well, technically is.
I mean, yeah,
comedy.
kids
Is it
movies.
really?
Kids movies have kind of replaced comedies if you think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
A little bit. Mhm.
Yeah, Love and Thunder 8, Spider-Man No Way Home 9. Well, this is of course just 20.
Puss in Boots had a
22.
lot of good comedy in it.
Puss in
Sonic the
Boots was good.
Hedgehog 2, Black
Yeah.
Adam 11, 12 is Elvis, and 13's Uncharted, 14 Nope, 15 Lightyear.
I love
So,
that.
You
I
can't
mean-
do adult comedy. Then all you
Not
all you
anymore,
have
it
left
feels
is kids
like.
comedy, right?
You're right, CC. Exactly. You're right. Like, and at this point, Illumination is one of the only places you can go to where you can trust the shit coming out of there, because you can't trust Pixar no more. You can barely trust anything out of Disney no more. Like outside of Encanto, name me one thing they've had since Frozen that's done anything. And Frozen, I wouldn't consider a comedy either.
Success,
So.
not on their accord.
Exactly.
Like,
That was against their will, right, Paulie? Like we watched that happening in real time. We're like,
you saw that. In
why
real
are they
time.
burying this movie? Like everybody like is
So
loving
weird.
the music and shit, but like they're burying it. But anyway,
Lightyear
yeah.
was a huge, massive failure. I mean,
I heard that was a hell of a comedy.
Well, and you know what was a flop too, unjustly, is the film Devotion, and that stars Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell from Top Gun.
Well, that's that's good.
And Top Gun, and Glenn Powell also executive produced this movie Devotion. Incredible film, drama with some good, Korean
That's
War
World War
action.
II or Korean War.
Korean War, and I think it cost $90 million to make. It didn't make any money in the theater. I saw it in the theater. It was fantastic. It's now streaming. I highly recommend Devotion. But it was a very adult film too. Like because it dealt with a lot, but it didn't deal with it on a woke level. It dealt with it on a human adult level
story. Yeah.
Wasn't Bros kind of touted as a comedy too, though, or a romantic comedy?
Yes.
I mean, otherwise, that's the only other comedies that have done anything have been the traditional romantic comedies. I mean, that George Clooney movie last year did okay. Stuff like that does okay. The one with Sandra Bullock and was it Channing Tatum or whoever it was? That one also did well.
Lost City.
Yeah,
But
Lost City.
Were comedies this also sent straight to streaming? A lot of them.
A lot of them are, Pauly. That's another thing. Yeah. And the few that pop up, like, I mean, I guess it's weird because I don't know if I'd consider this a straight up comedy because it's a biopic too, but like I laughed my ass off at that Dolomite movie.
Oh, that was a great movie.
That was great. I mean, so like every once in a while, but again, that went straight to streaming, like you were just saying, Pauly. So that was my point. But then again, Coming to America 2 was fucking garbage. And a lot of that was because they just couldn't be funny. And a lot of it was just recycled jokes from the first film. And I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to debate, is this worse than Blues Brothers 2000? Mark's the only one who gets that joke because he's probably the only one who watched the fucking movie about how bad it is.
I was trying to decide in my head which was worse, but I know, right? I think Coming to America was more disappointing because you had the original cast. God bless John Belushi.
Yeah, because at least you're right. Because Blues Brothers 2000 had the excuse of you don't have John Belushi, so
he would have.
Oh my God, is that really a John Belushi figure from SNL? Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Greatness.
Yeah. So from
that is friggin' sweet.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that bit today either, right?
No, hell no. Shit, you probably couldn't even do the cheeseburger.
Nope, you can't do that.
No Pepsi Coke.
No Coke Pepsi.
No Coke Pepsi.
Oh, it's the other way around. Yeah, no Coke Pepsi. Yeah.
Devotion is you have to pay for it, but you get it like on YouTube. Primetime subscription, Paramount Plus,
I thought it
Amazon
was on,
Prime Video.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure I saw it on Amazon Prime.
Had Devotion, yeah.
Let's get into some of these super chats, guys. Appreciate it. We got Mihan here who sends in a, I think, what is that? Swiss krona, I believe. 9 Swiss krona, if I'm not mistaken. Super sticker. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can see what it is still. I might have missed it because we got really heavy into the conversation. Oh, I got it here. Okay, it's a little smiley face. That's right. Thank you for that. And then we've got Jack White again. Thank you so much. He says, Hollywood has been giving nothing but stories about race, gender discrimination to the exclusion of any other kind of story, which is one of the reasons people are getting sick of their stuff. Yes, indeed. And that brings me right up to this one. And CC's point earlier, Al Humphrey says the latest episode of South Park was genius. Now, I know I'm going to probably get a claim for this. This is worth it. If you guys have not seen the new episode of South Park, you have to see the streaming wars, which lead into this new season. And this is just one of the most hilarious bits I've ever seen.
Well, Gerald, I don't know if you can just talk to your son, but can we just admit this whole woke thing isn't working?
Woke thing?
I mean, it's been great in so many ways, but now it's like every movie and every TV show, it's like you can see through it now. Audiences want to be entertained. They don't want to be preached at. And if you're just doing shows and movies that have an agenda, it's just going to keep failing.
Randy, what are you talking about?
Box office is down. People are tuning out. It's what killed the Marvel franchise. And just as a side note, I'm going to say it out loud. Avatar 2 sucked. It doesn't have to be brave enough to say it. Well, Gerald.
Okay, sorry, I had to share that because the whole thing is like, cool. Oh my God, it was hilarious. But Pauly does have to leave us here. But thank you, Pauly, for hopping in here. That was great to get your insight on Ant-Man. If you want to see Pauly's full, unbridled, no holds barred, no spoilers review, check out Latino Slant. It's over there. Also, check it out just in general. Great channel. And also, Pauly does stuff for Midnight's Edge Espanol as well. So do check out both. And anything else you got to plug on your way out the door? Any events coming up?
Every Saturday. No, just, we'll be back at it every day. And that's it. Check, yeah, like I said, and just subscribe to everyone here on the panel. Everyone's doing some good stuff, having a lot of fun, and be at the end of the day, if you want to go see whatever you want to go see, like, go do it. Make up your own mind. You get your own opinion. But yeah, there's stuff I gotta go do. Valentine's.
Okay,
You're seeing you, bud.
Have a good Valentine's
Good to
Day,
see you,
Paula.
buddy.
Happy
Take care, bro.
Valentine's Day.
Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Yes, take care. And then we got a couple more super chats here. Let's get to. Jack White says, not to get too political, but socialism and communism need to be swept into the dustbin of history already, and Marx needs to be called out for what he was.
Yeah, Richard Marx was a terrible singer. I don't care what anyone says.
But Groucho was a funny bastard.
Yeah, but Groucho was funnier. Pudding Tang says, Tom, I might be reading too much into this. Oh, you might, huh? I got a button for that. But it seems to me people have missed an Ezra they-them joke in the Flash trailer when he does the "We're Barry" line. What do you think? Sorry, off topic. No, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because Mr. H caught that too. He thought that was quite funny that they
Well,
had
a good way to sneak it in, right? I
Yeah,
guess
well,
if
not
you
only
wanted
that,
to
at
do
least it makes sense when you talk about they-them in the movie now.
Yep. I just, God bless people with their pronouns, but I have trouble remembering names, and they expect me to remember pronouns. I mean, I do my best, but it ain't easy. Yeah. Oh, God.
So no, Pudding Tang, I mean, I don't know about looking into it too much, but I think it's hilarious. Yes.
So is he the Flash or is he they Flash? There's a them Flash.
They, them
Well, he's so
Flash.
fast,
Them
there's
Flash.
multiple flashes everywhere.
Is it Flash Eye or Flash is?
Flashist. You're being flashist.
I don't know.
You're a
But thank you,
flashist.
Pudding Tank, for the very generous $20. That was amazing. Then we've got Doug, 1985. VA loves horror. Says Police Academy would not be made today. Well, they were working on a reboot of that with one of the guys from Key and Peele. I think it was the one who doesn't make the horror movies. What's his name? Is it Peele? Is the other one?
Well,
I can't remember which one.
No, Jordan, the other one.
The other one.
Yep.
Orange.
Yep.
And so they were talking about it. And I've said this before. Police Academy is prime grounds for remakes, and I don't give a shit. Actually, reboot. What you do is you just have Mahoney as the new commandant, and you bring in whoever's still left alive, which is very few anyway. And you just have a new group of comedians who are fucking funny. A new squad. Yeah, that's exactly what you call it. Police Academy, the new squad. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can't call it Police Squad though. Don't call it.
No. Police Academy, the new squad. It works.
Aren't they making a naked? Isn't Seth MacFarlane thinking of making naked?
Well, they are with Liam
Police
Neeson.
Squad? Yeah, that might be good.
I have
Who
no
was the
idea how it's going
comedian?
to turn out.
The comedian with all the sound effects in Police Squad.
Michael Winslow's still alive. He still can be there.
God,
Yeah.
I loved him in that movie.
Basically, the only ones who I think are still alive are obviously.
Sharon Stone.
She was in part 4. That's true.
Yeah,
And that's the last time we saw Mahoney was when he was with her, so she could bring her back for a cameo. But yeah, obviously, Steve Guttenberg's still alive. Michael Winslow's still alive. Outside of that, I think Proctor's still alive, and that's about it. Maybe a few of the random others, but like maybe you could get Bobcat Goldthwait back, but you probably have to pay him a lot of money to do that voice again. Like, I'm not doing that voice again. What's this? $1 million check? Oh my god! I'm a cop. Pull over.
You see, Tom, you could do it instead, Tom, and you wouldn't. You'd
Just
only
do his voiceover. Yeah.
Just ask for $500,000. You wouldn't ask for $1 million.
Like, yeah, I used to do it when I was a kid all the fucking time. Gene made a machine. Jojo made it go. Art blew a fart and blew the whole damn thing apart. That was touching. Thank you.
Yeah, why pay anyone $1 million, Tom? You could do all the parts.
Right. Oh, Michael Winslow. I lost the bleeps, I lost the creeps, and I lost the sweeps. The what? And that's not all he's lost. Of course, that's for Spaceballs, but yeah. I like that. What are you here for? I'll show you. God damn it, stop that!
Now, that's funny.
Yes, Police Academy was hilarious. The first one especially. The second one, meh. Third one, meh. Fourth one, the best of the sequels. Fifth one, sixth one,
And
oh my
then
fucking god, why are you still making these movies? And the seventh one, you're like, Oh
Are
my
you
God, they
people
made a
all at
seventh
gunpoint?
movie.
Wait, are you people all being held at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't they
Then
change
you
the
had
name
not
too?
one but two TV series. What was that? Sorry.
No, I remember when I was watching these movies the first time, I was hunting for them in the VHS era, and I only found the seventh one by accident because they had some kind of a different name or something. It's been a long time, so maybe I'm wrong, but it's like they were trying to bury it anyways. It was in the back corner, right?
The seventh one?
Whatever the last Police Academy movie was.
Yeah, it was
'Cause
a straight to
loved them,
video.
but
Yeah.
it got to a point, right, where
It was Mission to Moscow. And they actually
Yeah.
shot the damn thing in Russia. So funnily enough, I think it was one of the more expensive Police Academy films, but it actually went straight to video. Yeah.
Cartoon Man, yeah. Put
Yeah.
that in.
I'm surprised Canon
Keto,
didn't pick
Police
up the
Academy
rights.
defunded.
Police Academy defunded.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but I'm surprised Canon movies didn't pick up the rights. They would have made
Oh,
Police Academy
Lord.
8, 9, and 10 if they got.
I mean, 5 has its moments, but yeah, I'm kind of with D-Bud here. 1 through 4 is the franchise, really. The series is the cartoon wasn't so bad. It was for a cartoon, it was all right.
different Academy.
But they had that weird TV show, and it's weird because it was like an hour-long show, and it's like most comedies are never an hour long. And then it's hard calling it a comedy because the quote unquote comedy in it was really stretched. And you would have random like appearances by like Michael Winslow, and Tackleberry was still alive then. And I think even Hightower's in a few. But then you get like a couple people pop up, like the guy who plays Sweet Chuck, but he's playing a completely different character in the show. And it's like weird. And it was just a bad series. I remember watching a couple episodes and I'm just like, oh my God, that's bad. It was on TBS for the longest time. Yeah, sorry, we went down on
You had
a
way
Police
too
Academy.
much time in your hands, Tom. If you're
I
watching
like
that.
Police Academy. I do. I was a fan. I will admit it.
Steve Gutenberg doing these days. I haven't seen him. for years.
He was in. He still acts in like smaller things. Yeah. Jack White says, Tom, I just sent you an email with an opinion of Mark's. Please share it with the panel.
Well, I mean,
Oh, is this
Gummo-
going to get too political?
Yes, Zeppo was just not that good, and Gummo never even showed up in the movies.
Yeah.
It's just that marks.
Yeah, nothing personal, Jack. It's just yeah, if it's gonna get too let's
Well, I don't
see.
think anyone on the
Oh,
panel
okay.
has a very high
He
opinion
says,
of that Mark.
okay, okay,
Angles, yeah.
all right. I will share this in the private chat, but I'm probably just gonna not say this out loud because we've been keeping it a fairly PG-13ish R-rated, mild R-rated show so far, and I don't want to dig too deep.
I mean,
Gutenberg popped up on the
Call that
Goldbergs.
political might not anger anybody, but
Yeah, it's just yeah. We need a new short circuit movie. I actually had an idea for a third short circuit movie for the longest time.
What was that Gutenberg
Johnny Five
movie,
Goes to College.
Gutenberg movie where he went to a castle and was it Peter?
Oh, is that Haunted Mansion? Or not
Haunted Mansion or something
Haunted
like that?
Honeymoon, I think it was, or
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember now. It wasn't Haunted Mansion though. It was like
Hey, it was
Haunted
something
Honeymoon
like
or
that.
High Spirits. Is that the one you're thinking
High
of?
Spirits could be.
Trying
Yeah,
to
that was
think
quite
of-
good.
Because Haunted Honeymoon, I think that was Gene Wilder. High Spirits says
High
Siniste.
Spirits.
I think Siniste is right. I think it's High Spirits. Yeah.
High Spirits. Yeah.
Jack White says you can still do adult comedy, just can't do it in Hollywood. Well, yeah, there's that too. Well, that's what YouTube is for now, anyway. What they do let us get away with here.
Peter
so-
O'Toole. That's right. Peter O'Toole was.
your
in
intro to this show was hilarious, by the way.
Was it? Oh well, thank you. I didn't
I
think we.
enjoyed
I don't know. I didn't think it was any better than any other, but I appreciate it. But yes,
That was good.
I think we're going to wrap this up here. Even though there's over 600 of you watching, I appreciate that so very much. Please hit the like button. Let everybody know that you're watching us and you do appreciate what we do here, because that lets the algorithm out. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up since it's Valentine's Day. I'll let these guys get out of here. What gentlemen do have significant others? They should probably go romance a little bit, I would say.
Do you mind if we dance with your dates?
Do you mind if we dance with your dates? Right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Deleted
waiting.
scenes.
Yeah. High Spirits was the one we were thinking.
Yeah,
of.
I think so.
Yeah. Peter
Oh,
O'Toole
Jack.
and Daryl Hannah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jack says that email was in response to Paul pointing out that the new Ant-Man movie, they said socialism was good, by the way. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay,
That's
gotcha.
because they don't have to live with it. That's why.
But I'm
they
pretty
hate
sure
it.
anybody can look this
They
up
meant
right now.
It's good for
so.
everyone but me, is what they always forget to say the last part to tack on. Yeah, it's really good for everyone but me, of course. I'm not, I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, right. That's for sure.
Yes, and happy Valentine's Day, everybody. So Mark, thank you so much for hopping in here, brother. As you're going to see some new faces. In fact, Keto was in the chat earlier. I'm going to try and get him in here either Thursday or next Tuesday as well, and some other folks that I do hang out with on other streams as well. So hopefully you guys will see some new faces here in the next couple weeks, along with all the classics. And Mikey will hopefully be back Thursday as well as Six and the others. Although I think
the window
Six
stuck. He couldn't get out the window today. Was it stuck?
I think Six is actually going to see Ant-Man, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know.
Tonight?
So we'll see.
Early, huh?
Thursday before the show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we'll get her response on that too. So we'll see how she feels about it. And other than that, Thursday I will be here, of course, and I'm sure a lot of these gentlemen will be too. So CC, what else do you got coming up in the near future?
Mainly Friday nights, if Mexican
Karaoke
Iron Man, gets over the food poisoning or whatnot, and he's back.
He better.
Yeah. Then you can find me there on the Late Show with Mexican Iron Man on Friday nights, and then after that, karaoke on my channel. We'll do that for a few hours.
Karaoke. That's right. And I usually try to join. And Mark, anything you got coming up since we don't have a Toxic Tuesday tonight?
Yeah, no Toxic Tuesday. So, but I'll be on the Clubhouse with Cloudburn Times on Thursday night.
Usually Thursday nights, but tomorrow it's Wednesday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So
division.
Yeah, we'll be on Wednesday night, and then Thursday night we'll be reviewing in a comics division. And my big show of the week is Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking a lot of Ant-Man, I'm sure, and any kind of geek news of the week. Check out my channel too. I always, I'm reviewing action figures. Oop, there goes Giant Man.
Ant-Man. There's the
Ant-Man.
real.
There's the real Hank Pym. Yep.
The real Hank Pym.
Yep. So I'm always reviewing action figures, toys, and hanging on a Toxic Tuesday. But thank you for the opportunity to jump on here, and I'd love to be back. And if I can get my slideshows done for Toxic Tuesday, that would work out better. So
absolutely,
always appreciate hanging out with you guys. A lot of fun.
Twitter here. In the back,
it was in the chat. I'll put it in the private.
Yeah, put it in the private chat so I can get you on Twitter and Facebook or whatever. But yes, thank you for being here. And in 70s, you got supper coming up, I'm sure. What else you got?
I'm hungry like. I get.
I'm hungry like. I've only had second breakfast.
I've got. There's a lot going on that 70s rock fan channel these days. So yesterday, CC and I did the grunge stream, which is now back up after Warner Music Group forced me to trim some stuff out of it. That stream's back up to watch the replay. Tuesday mornings, I was on it this morning, and next week I take over as host on Pop Culture Minefield's Tuesday morning coffee. It'll be Coffee with Brian from now on.
Wow.
On Pop Culture Minefield KGRA Radio, taking that show over. Next Monday, my show on Monday will be about the 1980 classic Flash Gordon. So we'll get movies and music in one stream.
Cool.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Also, I'll be on. You can always see me in MEAD. Loki show on Friday too, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So lots
Just
to do.
Sub.
915 subs. Trying to get to 1,000, so head over there and give me a sub. But there's lots of content coming.
We need 85 more.
So many videos and streams that I can't even remember them all now.
So get on over there and check out 70s if you haven't already. Yeah. And Clubby, what do you got coming up for us?
Well, the Clubhouse is usually Thursday nights, but because Mark and I are going to be been asked to be guests on our good old buddy Comics Division show to review Ant-Man, I've moved it to tomorrow night, Wednesday night for the Clubhouse. I think Loki's got a comic roundtable before that, so I have a couple streams. And then Thursday night over there with Comics Division, like I said, reviewing Ant-Man with a bunch of the fellas, I suppose. And then Friday night, be on for one last time to the football season for our buddy Dadman's channel, reviewing the Super Bowl, and then the comic shop talk at Nick's at 8:30 with the gang, and then Saturday night Star Trek, of course. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, as always, with my wonderful First Officer Raquel Briggs, reviewing the first 5 more episodes of Deep Space Nine. Monday, I'm having Michael with Retro Blasting on. We're going to be talking it's Superman month on Collaborative Times, and we're going to be talking pre-crisis Superman. And so always look forward to that. Our good buddy Michael with the great Retro Blasting channel. So.
All right. Tell Michael I miss him. It's been a while.
I will.
All right. Take care of yourself, everybody. And I will be somewhere eventually, here, there, and everywhere. Morning show for sure. But you never know. Maybe we'll do some MEAD radio in a while. So take care of yourselves and each other. And until next time.
Good night.
How dare you?
Yes.